folks. So it is about 4:40 right now. Got up about 10-15 minutes ago. Just wrapped up breakfast. Trying to get up a little earlier now that I'm doing these big days. That way I can get the entire day and a little bit more time before the sun gets really hot, which I think it's going to be a pretty warm day today because it's supposed to be completely sunny, which will be beautiful. It'll just be a little bit warm, but yeah, just had some cold soak grits. I've been doing the cold soak thing. Usually what I'll do is I'll either just put it in a pot or in a bag because I'm trying to conserve fuel for my stove because there's not a lot of fuel stops out here on the CDT. A lot of these towns are really rural towns, so you go in there and it's, you get a Family Dollar, it's like a camp store or something like that, and they might have propane, but they're not going to have the isobutane that we use for the stoves. So to mitigate that, I'm usually just cooking one meal, and that's usually dinner, and then the breakfast is cold soaked. That's been working pretty good so far, though it sometimes isn't very fun to eat cold grits or cold oatmeal on a colder morning. Like today, if I had to guess, it's probably in the 40s right now. You can tell that it's starting to get a little bit colder as we push into later in the month, and I think it's going to continue that way, but yeah, I'm going to work on getting everything packed up because I want to get out of here by 5 o'clock, and I think I can do it. I'm getting more and more organized in the mornings, so yeah, let's get out by 5. So, we made it out by 5 o'clock. Doing pretty good. It was a little cold, but you know how they say, like, the trail provides. I was a little chilly, so the mountain said, well, I got something for you. How about a 1,000-foot climb as soon as you roll out of bed? And so I'm no longer cold. What is interesting, though, is I talked about the carousel of pain a couple days ago and how different body parts like to jump on there. Well, my left metatarsal that I'm looking at right now, so that was hurting, and then I got one of those gel inserts, which was funny because I went to a Walgreens and they only had women's inserts, so I guess men don't have foot pain. But the thing about it is that they all showed a photo of heels, like women that have suffered these injuries from wearing heels, which sucks that you're expected to wear shoes that freaking hurt you. Like literally every orthotic insert or whatever in there was meant to address women's feet, and every one of them had a photo of like heels on them, so that sucks. But this insert's working great for me. Anyways, so insert's working great. Left foot's off the carousel of pain. Well, right foot says, well, what about me? And now my second to last toe and my pinky toe are getting some shooting pain, which is close to the metatarsal. Usually it's like the third and fourth toe, so I think it might be the edge of my foot that's hurting, but I'll probably give the metatarsal pad a try and see if that helps. And I think there's a CVS, Walgreens, or some kind of pharmacy in Salmon that I can get into, but we'll see. It's something I can walk on, but it doesn't feel great. I don't think it's going to turn into a hike ender, but also not very fun. But one other note of progress, in addition to the left metatarsal, is the heels are getting better. I told you a couple days ago that the inserts I have gave me some really bad heel cup blisters. Well, those are healing, and it feels a lot better. So it's funny, it's just a game of give and take and balance out here, and just managing what you can. And if you can get everything to a 7 out of 10, you're doing pretty good. I don't know if you'll ever get 10 out of 10 good feeling in your feet and body on a journey like this, but good enough is good enough. All right, guys, back to the 1,000-foot climb. Thousand-foot climb done. That's not a bad view. Wow. Look at that. Ooh, it's chilly. Got the wind blowing up here today. Gotta keep moving. So I just got to meet my first real northbounder. And by real northbounder, meaning someone that started in Mexico and has gone through all the states and is on their last state right now. Her name was Miho. It was so cool chatting with her because she said that she made it through the snows in Colorado, which is amazing. Because when these guys start down south, usually they start in April. And when they hit Colorado in May, there's still a huge amount of snow up in the mountains. So it's really difficult for them to get through. And a lot of people will skip it. And they call those snowbows. So folks that have flipped up to avoid the snow down in Colorado. But she hiked straight through it. And she said there were days when she hiked through the snow and was post-holing, which means you step and you go all the way up to like your crotch when you step and you're not actually on top of the snow. And she said it took her 10 hours to go 6.5 miles. Like, that has to be immensely frustrating. She said it was so bad, what she was doing was actually getting up on the Continental Divide, which is the ridge line itself, because she saw that that's what the animals were doing as they were crossing through, because they were also post-holing. She also told me that she saw 3 southbounders yesterday, which is cool to know because that means I'm within 3 people, or within a day's reach of 3 people. And I was trying to figure out where my place was within the rest of the southbounders. So she said 3 yesterday that she saw, and then 2 the day before. So I've got 5 southbounders within a day or 2 of me. I know I've got a couple behind me as well, but we're kind of in strands. It's not a bubble like you'll see with the regular start dates, the people that started during the regular time. So it's cool to see that I'm slowly starting to catch more people, and also that I'm not completely alone out here. Even though I don't mind the solitude, it still is a beautiful thing, and to be out in this wilderness is really something special. But it's just nice to know that there's other folks around. So I want to explain how the trail is set up on the Wyoming-Montana border. Basically, you've got a spine that makes up the Continental Divide. So right there is the spine. And then you've got these arms that run off of it. So think of this as vertical, and then think of the arm as horizontal. So what we're doing is we're walking parallel with the spine, and we're going over the arms, which is why there's so many 1,000-foot climbs out this way, as opposed to what we were seeing in like the Bob Wilderness or like Glacier National Park. This is just walking parallel to the divide, and we're just crossing over all these arms that are shooting off the divide, which just means a lot of climbs in this particular section. Now, does it continue to do that further down the trail? I don't know. I don't think so. I just know this part of the trail is known as being particularly difficult because of that. But yeah, just to give you guys a little background on why this section's a little bit more difficult and how it's all made up. We got a cow and a calf. Those are elk, by the way. Oh wow, look at all of them. There's probably a couple more than that, actually. I even heard more run off down the valley, so I'm wondering if these guys circled around, or if it was a large herd that's just kind of split. Amazing. Second 1,000-foot climb. Second mountain pass. Beautiful with the sun. Oh my goodness. Another old cabin with one heck of a campsite next to it. See a little fire pit there and space for plenty tents. That's pretty nice, and I think I'm gonna take a break here soon. It is hot. That's all. Howdy folks, so it is mile 22 for the day and I'm gonna do another 9 miles. Initially I was gonna do another 4, but I recently identified an alternative route that I can take that will set me up for greater success into the town of Ledor and will actually help me shave off an entire day of hiking distance, because it takes a more efficient route. And kind of funny, the name of the alternate or of the route is the Bloody Richard route. And if you know the nickname for Richard, that's what it is, the Bloody Richard route. And it drops down a little bit and basically follows Bloody Richard Creek for about 30 or so miles, which means tomorrow, instead of being a 26-mile day, is going to be about a 30-mile day, which is fine because I'm willing to walk a little further to shave off a day on my route. And what will happen is I'll get picked up by Laura, and she will pick me up from the trailhead tomorrow evening around 6-7 p.m. and we'll head back to her house. And then I think what will happen is I will kindly ask her to drop me off in the town of Ledor, because where she is picking me up tomorrow is actually the road that you take to get into Ledor. And then I will take a 0 at a motel called the Mustang Inn that is extremely friendly to hikers and has my food resupply, so be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And really, yeah, it's basically the best of all worlds, like the best that I can make. And really, it's best case scenario, all things considered. And then I will walk out of Ledor the following day. So that's the update for right now. It'll be a longer evening than I planned, but ultimately it's going to set me up for success in the long run. I'm hoping that I can continue to identify these routes and efficiencies as far down the trail as I can, because I am all about taking the best route possible. Okay guys, let's get to it. We're about to play a game. How good is my balance and how rotted out is this log? Ooh, it's pretty rotted. Ooh. Oh boy, it is. It's quite spongy. I think I got it. How rotted is that one? Okay, now just a step up and tightrope. There's that. There's that. I think we got it. Speed at the end. Whew. And go into the spruce tree, but we did not get the feet wet.
So the route that I'm on is actually on the Nez Perce. I'm not going to try the rest because I don't want to insult anyone, but it is on the Nez Perce Trail, and it is also a national trail, which is pretty neat. And also, if we look right over here, we will see I've got 4 miles to go before I hit the campground tonight. Funny thing about this alternate route that I'm on right now, I had been looking at it probably about 4 or 5 hours ago and was trying to figure out if it was doable, because the mapping software that I use is called Onyx, and you can download offline maps, and it's going to download every trail in an area that it can possibly pull from its database, which is wonderful because you can find a lot of alternate routes and really maneuver around with those. The only catch is you don't know how old those those roads are. It could have been a logging road from the 70s that hasn't been touched since. It could be perfectly clear, which this one was. So I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to roll the dice on that, because it takes a bit of a commitment on some of these routes. You kind of get into them and then you're fully committed. So it could turn out to be a nightmare and not save you any time and just be a really horrible route. Well, I was walking and I saw my third, fourth, and my fifth true northbound thru-hiker stopped and chatted with me. And he was a German whose trail name is Sonic. And the funniest thing that I noticed about Sonic is that he had mismatching everything, but it was still the same. So like his shoes were both Brooks Cascadias, right? And normally those will come in the same color, but what he had done is bought two different colors and was wearing opposite colors on opposite feet. He also had gaiters that went over it that were opposite, and he had these super short shorts that were like right to here with dancing bananas on them. So it was already pretty interesting, already one of the most interesting Germans I've ever met. And he had just come off this alternate trail and was telling me that it's like, yeah, it's clear, it's gravel road the entire way, there's places to camp, there's decent water, and that's what gave me the confidence to take this route. So a big thank you to Sonic and her mismatching outfit. Oh, one thing about Sonic that I forgot to mention, he had CDT socks made by Farm to Feet, which Chica and Sunsets bought me. You guys are freaking awesome. They'll be here pretty soon. I think probably 2 weeks from now I'll be able to put those on camera. And I mentioned it to him. It's like, oh, cool socks. I've got the same set on the way. And he goes, oh. And he looks down at them. He's like, oh, they're matching. I must fix that. So I imagine he's going to go into town and buy a different sock so he doesn't have matching socks. One of the most fun Germans I've ever met, and I've met some pretty fun Germans. Alright guys, figured I'd give you the story on how I got on this alternate. This has got to be one of the most enjoyable evenings I've had, probably since I did that 26-mile day in the Bob. It's just clear, calm, there's no thunderstorm. It's in the 60s, so perfect hiking temperature. It's just got that quiet that you get during the evening. Just really peaceful. It's just something about the silence that you get with the evening, and everything just settles down, that really makes hiking enjoyable. And most of all is my feet don't hurt that bad. They're very tolerable right now, which is nice. It does feel like I'm starting to turn a corner with regard to endurance, and we are almost right at the 1 month mark. So it looks like efforts and investments up front are paying off, and I'm going to try to continue to protect said investment with some rest the day after tomorrow, and then just continue to be attentive. But that aside, extremely peaceful evening, extremely beautiful scenery. Home sweet home for the evening.
Alright guys, I'm going to show you how I make breakfast for the following morning. So I've got this awesome oatmeal mix that Swiss Miss made. It's got chia seeds and blueberries and strawberries and I think banana in there too, with actual oats. And all I do is just cover it with water and then put it in the bag, and then I put it in my pot. That way it doesn't leak so much. And then I just cover that and I put it in the food bag and then I eat it in the morning. Pretty simple. Alright y'all, closeout time. So, can't remember where we woke up this morning. It was along a creek like 32 miles ago. Fortunately, no condensation, which was amazing because we were right next to the creek, but the tent was totally dry. Anyways, went over 2 really nice passes. Ran into our first true northbounders. Those are the ones that weren't flipping up due to snow or what have you. They've hiked all the way through, which was excellent. The 5th northbounder gave us the heads up on this alternate, which we're currently on, which is freaking awesome. I don't know if you can tell, but there are cows right there on the road, and they're all down in the valley here. So you'll probably hear them as I'm chatting, but they are coming up, which is really neat. I'm totally fine having cows as neighbors. 100%. Love it. So, body held up decently. The heels started barking at me a little bit towards the end of the day, and I'm going to do what I can to address that. I think what I'm going to do is see if there's any blister, drain whatever blister's there, and then I'm going to trim off a little bit more material on my insert, because I think that heel is just too aggressive, because like the way the shoe kind of folds in like this and the heel scoops up in my, oh, had to just kill a mosquito, and my skin's just getting caught in between the crevice of the insert and the edge of the shoe, so it's just eating it alive. So I think what I'll do tomorrow, like I said, trim a little bit more, and then I'll probably put another blister band-aid on top of that, and then just keep an eye on it. I mean, that's all I can do. And I might switch out inserts, because it seems like it's the inserts coupled with the shoe that's causing the issue. I'd hate to switch the inserts because they're custom, but I mean, something's got to be done. I can't just keep letting my heels get chewed up like this. But overall, solid day considering it was 32 miles. I think tomorrow is going to be 31 miles, and that'll be up to Bannock Pass, which leads into Lador. But I'll get picked up by Laura, and she's going to take me back to her house, and it should be pretty sweet. I'm looking forward to it. And then I'm going to take a 0 after tomorrow. 100%. Ooh, my neighbors are getting closer. How close will they get? I think they want the grass here, because when I first walked up, a herd ran away. Anyways, y'all, that's it. I need to get to bed. I'm going to be getting up at 4 a.m. again tomorrow because we got a long day, and I got to make sure I'm at the right place at the right time for my ride. And the mosquitoes are wearing me out. Talk to you tomorrow.